Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with another episode of the Chi-Town Sports Podcast. Today, I'm joined with Ben, of course. Another
Hello.
No Face Cam stream. Ben and I, we conversated after the show last week on Sunday or Saturday, and we really liked the result. We thought No Face Cam helped us get our grammar better, just fine tune some things, and we really liked how the show turned out. The viewers, you guys might like the face cam a little bit more, but I'm sorry. For the near future, I think we're going to be sticking with this. Quality over, I don't know.
Just quality. It's better quality.
Exactly. If we ever do interviews, I'm trying to line up some interviews. I think they'll be fun and interesting, and we'll elevate our channel to the next step.
Yeah.
We will do face cams for that, of course. I think you need to. You guys already know what we look like. You've seen us 30-plus times. But, yeah. Let's get on with the topics. Please subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. Instagram is Chi-Town Sports Podcast, all lowercase. We're going to be talking about DeAndre Hopkins signing the largest non-quarterback deal in NFL history. Ben, what's your take on this?
Well, it shows a clear belief in him by the Cardinals. I'll say that much. They traded for him this offseason. The Texans were widely panned for that trade, and I think the Cardinals for sure got the better of the deal. David Johnson was obviously fading. And I think D-Hop could be worth it. I don't know if he is right now. We haven't seen him play on the Cardinals yet and how he'll mesh with them. But I guess this contract shows that they're willing to spend a lot of money to get really good.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's just 2 years, $54.5 million.
Jeez.
That's $27.25 million a year. And you see by the title, does D-Hop deserve it? I want to say no. I had D-Hop on my fantasy football team last year. I ended up winning the championship. I'll mention that multiple times in the next few months. But with D-Hop, he underperformed to a very large extent last year. Was hurt for a few weeks as well. I didn't trust him. I even benched him a few times for some randoms. And yeah, so I don't think he deserves it. Great for him. I don't think these athletes deserve getting paid this much, but it is what it is.
Wait, hold up. That's interesting because they're the ones making. They're the ones making. I'm just gonna note they're the ones making all the money for the owners.
I'm not saying you're wrong. They just so much money. They could be doing that for other stuff.
It's a lot.
Anyways, let's move on really quickly. I want to say Kareem Hunt got a 2-year, $13 million extension. And yeah, Leonard Fournette also saying for the first time, I really have a quarterback. Blake Bortles, just a little bit of shade,
And Gardner Minshew, that's kind of a shot.
Yeah, that is a shot. It's not like you had Mitch Trubisky throwing you those teeny tiny routes that you barely even catch. But all right, Leonard Fournette, keep talking. Let's move on. We're gonna keep basketball for the end. The NBA playoffs, of course, going on as we speak. Let's talk about some baseball. Actually, no. Let's talk about NFL matchups for this upcoming weekend. Talk about college football a little bit. Then we'll go into baseball. So we stay on similar topics. Of course, the NFL opener will be the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Very anticipated matchup. I'm excited. I know, of course, Ben is excited. Patrick Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Chiefs by 20 plus in my mind. Ben, what do you have? I think it's going to be a blowout.
I agree with you on this one. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs not showing any signs of chilling. These guys are rolling. They're high off their Super Bowl, and some people might think there might be a hangover. Texans just aren't good anymore without D-Hop. I guess they'll still be decent, but I could see this being a blowout as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think D-Hop really put these things together. I'm back. I'm sorry.
You're back.
Something came over the.
It happens.
It happens. But yeah. So I have Texans by a lot. Bunch of okay matchups. I'm looking at it here: Jets, Bills, Eagles, Washington, Packers, Vikings. I want to touch on a few matchups though that I'm quite excited for. I'd say Patriots, Dolphins, even though they're both mediocre right now. I just want to see how the Patriots do. without Tom Brady at the helm. Of course, Jimmy G started the first 4 games a few years ago. But just the direction of that team, I'm interested to see Joe Burrow and Cincy play most likely Tyrod Taylor. I don't think they've announced it yet, but I'm pretty certain. I also want to see the Cardinals 49ers. I think that's interesting with Kyler Murray and D-Hop against the 49ers and their elite defense and pretty solid offense. Of course, made it to the Super Bowl last year. And I think Titans-Broncos, the end of the week, I have a few players on fantasy for those teams. So for that reason alone, I'm excited to see that game as well.
I got some games that I've liked the look of. Initially off the bat, I think the best game, or one of the best games this week, could be the Browns-Ravens game. We'll see how the Browns are this year. They added even more pieces for Baker Mayfield. Austin Hooper's coming in. They already have Odell, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, a good offensive line, and a new coach. If they don't do much better this year, I think you got to look at Baker, and I think we'll see how they started off against the Ravens, who obviously could be a Super Bowl contender.
I agree.
My other game that I'm going to look at is Falcons Seahawks. Two teams that could be playoff bound, also could have rough years. We'll see how it goes.
I'm surprised at the Seahawks.
I'm sure
in the running for a bad year.
I'm sure they'll have a good year. I'm sure they'll have a good year. But, I mean, they play in a tough division, so we'll see.
No doubt about that. Interesting, no preseason games. I think the first probably 2 weeks will be sloppy. I'm not going to lie. I think they'll be very sloppy. They haven't been able to scrimmage against other teams to stop the spread of COVID as much as they can. Usually, the Cowboys always try to match up against someone. Usually there's a fight, which is kind of funny. I don't know why, but the Cowboys always have a fight at some point. There's at least one or two in the league. And just reminiscing on that, I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a long time. All right. Let's talk college football, Ben. I'll let you start. What topics do you want to discuss college football related?
I guess we'll start with just this is the first week of real college football. I know that we had Memphis play last week. We had SMU play last week. We had Army and Navy play. But we're going to see some Power 5 teams this week. I think that's exciting for everybody. Notre Dame plays Duke in maybe one of the more intriguing games. There's not that many close games this week, from what I was looking at the schedule. But I still am excited just to see college football really get started.
I am as well. Duke should be a cupcake for Notre Dame. I'm not worried about that. I think all these big-time schools, Clemson will have a cupcake in Winston-Salem. I'm excited to just hear Kirk Herbstreit and what's his name? Jesse, or no. How am I forgetting his name? He's like, who does Saturday call? What's his name? Ben.
Chris Fowler?
Chris Fowler. How did I forget that? What? My fault. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. I'm pretty sure they did the BYU Navy game on Labor Day, aka last night, for when Ben and I are doing this podcast. Well, we're not even going to talk about that. That game was a disgrace.
BYU.
I'm not even – some people are on the BYU hype train. I understand you beat Tennessee last year. I understand you just railed Navy, but Navy didn't tackle.
Army railed Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee wasn't supposed to be that bad, and Army beat them 42-0. So that's
I didn't see that. I think our Army's beating Navy this year. If the game even happens, that's to be determined. I don't know. There aren't any crazy matchups that I'm super, super hyped for. I think Notre Dame Duke will be solid. I'm very excited about that. Actually, no, there's one thing I want to talk about. Oklahoma, they will not be showing the public their COVID-19 numbers.
That's strange to me.
That makes me that made me question some integrity. I'm not gonna lie. That made me a little.
Lincoln Riley got so defensive about it.
Yeah, I'm not in the Big 12, but I think there might be something going on behind the scenes. I'm not gonna lie. But that was a little, I don't know. I don't know why you need to do that. I don't know why they went out of their way to
Every
do that.
other school.
Exactly.
Basically.
So, just a little something I have to say about that. Yeah, none of these games are looking close. Out of
Hopefully, we'll see a few close games. Just
two
because.
Power 5 schools playing each other, the only ones that I am seeing that are close out of two Power 5s playing each other, probably FSU, Georgia Tech.
I don't think that'll be that close.
It's 12.5.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's it. I don't even know if it'll be that close. But, yeah. Let's move on now. Talk about some baseball. Cubs, of course, the hometown favorite from Ben and I, not been playing the greatest as of late. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We've been saying this. It's getting ugly, Ben. It's getting ugly.
It's bad. I don't know how they're leading the NL Central. I guess the NL Central is about as weak as it's ever been this year, so that's helpful. But the Cubs are not good. I'm not going to lie. I don't think this team stands a chance in the playoffs. Yu Darvish and Kyle Hendricks, if they can string together good performances for the rest of the year, will make the playoffs. And I think Yu Darvish is a signing contender. But the offense is just Chris Bryant, Javi, they're all under 200 batting average. Rizzo's at like 220. It's not pretty. Bryant only has 2 homers and 6 RBIs.
I'm not going to say start the panic train, Ben. We're in 9th place. But 2.5, 3 weeks ago, we were in 1st place. So, we were in 1st place by a good 2 games.
I'm just saying this team is getting a weak schedule. They'll probably make the playoffs, but I'm just not seeing a team that could win in the playoffs.
No, and I mean, honestly, the only really challenging series we've had, a challenging opponent that we could likely face if we make it to the World Series, is the White Sox, maybe Indians. White Sox, we're red hot. They're cooling off a little bit right now. Luis Bear's just complete god. I'm not going to... Dude is nuts.
They got a good squad. They have a
great squad. They get maybe 1 or 2 more starting pitchers, 1 or 2 more relievers, like solid. Another all-star pitcher. Oh my gosh, they're scary. And those young guys they still have in the system. Wow. All right, now let's talk about what you guys most likely want to hear. NBA basketball. Of course, the bubble reigns on. It's been doing great for numbers. It's been doing great for NBA, for the NBA and for basketball itself, giving us stuff to watch, to hope for before any sport has. And actually, that's a lie. Did baseball start before?
Baseball? No, NBA was... Yeah, baseball did start before. I'm pretty sure.
Regardless.
It doesn't really matter, though, because
looking at, yeah. As Ben and I said yesterday, we were together. Baseball, so you check the score 2 or 3 times sport. You don't watch it for 2 or 3 hours. You could watch basketball for more than 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Not to say I haven't, but I prefer to watch basketball. Anyways, currently the Bucks are down 6 to the Heat. It's halftime.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's playing a solid 9-6-4. Chris Middleton's putting up 12 points so far. Bucks, I don't know. They're of course without Giannis. I saw a stat a few weeks ago showing what they were without Giannis and what they were with him. Without Giannis, they probably don't make the playoffs. They're barely a playoff team. With him, that's a whole different story. But I doubt he'll be coming back for Game 6 if they have it. Game 7 he'll of course play. But if a Game 6 is forced here by the Milwaukee Bucks, which is not looking likely, I doubt he'll play. So I had the Heat winning this. I had the Heat advancing to the NBA Finals, as you see in my stream, or as in the title. And yeah, Ben, what do you have to say about this series?
Well, I was actually watching the start of this matchup before this podcast, and the Heat looked really bad in the first quarter. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Jimmy had 5 turnovers. Bam had a few turnovers. They were shooting like 35% from the field. And they managed to only go into the second quarter down 9, and they immediately erased the deficit. And I do think they will win this game because the Bucks really need to take more advantage of that slow start.
They had a 33-point second quarter, yeah.
I don't know who's the Heat are going to face next round. And I do think the Heat will win this series in 5. But I do think the Heat have a shot against whoever they face next round. I don't think the Celtics or the Raptors are unbeatable right now. I don't even think they're that tough. Like, I think they're not as strong as the Heat look right now. So I would probably favor the Heat at the moment to make the NBA Finals. I'm not saying that's what I would pick, but I would say that they probably have the better odds than any other team at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I want to touch on some unscore related stuff. I mean, this is the only current game going on right now. Lakers Rockets will be later tonight. Daniel House Jr. is unavailable for Game 3 versus the Lakers. He is their sixth man. He says this is due to
What ended
personal
up happening?
reasons.
Is he injured?
Personal
injured?
reasons. Personal reasons.
Oh.
The Clippers finally got city approval to build new Inglewood Arena. I guess they're straying away from that Sears. I mean, not Sears. What am I saying? Staples Center. Meadowland, and then Giannis and Anthony Davis headline all-defensive team, and Kawhi gets booted down to the second all-defensive team.
Jeez, that's so strong there. Wow. Who is on it? Who is it? Like, read out
the rest of the second team or the first team? Or
first,
both?
First team.
First, Giannis, AD, Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, Marcus Smart. Second team, Kawhi, Pat Bev, Brook Lopez, kind of shocking, Eric Bledsoe, and Bam Adebayo.
So we got 3 Bucks on the. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Brook,
impressive.
Eric, and then Giannis. But of course they're missing Giannis. Touched on Heat, touched on Bucks, touched on Lakers. Lakers Rockets. I think the Lakers are going to win this game tonight and end up winning the series in 4 or 5. I mean, not 4 or 5, 5 or 6. Excuse me. Talked about the Clippers a little bit. They had a impressive comeback last night against the Nuggets. The Nuggets were up by a good bit. I think even, I don't know the exact points, but they were in control for the majority of that game. But yeah, it did not look insanely pretty in the fourth quarter there for the Nuggets, and due to that, the Clippers won by a score of 113 to 107. Ben, did you watch that game last night?
Last night's game between the Clippers and Nuggets, I
Yes.
watched part of it, and I thought that both teams looked very good. Obviously, Paul George had a really good game. Kawhi consistently is a great playoff player.
Playoff P.
The Nuggets need more out of Jamal Murray if they're going to win this series. He only had 14 last night on terrible shooting. He needs to score 25 at least every game, and he needs to shoot pretty well because Jokic was doing everything when I was watching, and they need that duo to play well.
I agree. I cannot disagree with that, Ben. But for the series that I feel like most of America, and of course Ben and I, have been paying most attention to, the Celtics and the Raptors. The first series to start, and might be the first series to end. Depends what goes on tonight. Or actually, I shouldn't say tonight, in the next hour and a half of this Miami-Milwaukee game. But Celtics are, of course, up 3-2. I thought the Raptors had this series quite easily. I'm not going to say in 4 or 5, but I thought it'd be pretty sure in 6. Toronto is projected to win this game due to from ESPN Basketball Power Index from 50.8 odds to Boston's 49.2. That's close. That's very close. Spread is about 3 points. Over/under is 210 points. I think the Raptors take care of business. It's a 6:40 Eastern tip in Orlando. And yeah, Ben, predictions?
So I'm just gonna go back to this summer when we made our predictions for how things would play out. All right, 5 minutes. I predicted that the Celtics would face the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, I got the Bucks part of that wrong. It looks like. I think the Celtics could do it. I think the Celtics are a really good team. Jason Tatum is proven himself to be a top 10 player in the NBA.
Ben, you're really about to be 0-2 in your picks. I'm confident the Raptors are winning this series.
You're confident the Raptors will win this series?
I'm confident.
We'll see how it goes. I changed my pick to the Raptors, so I kind of hedged my bets, but I could see either team winning the series. The Raptors looked horrible last game. They can't play that badly again. But I think this could go down to 7. I think that whichever big 3 plays better, Celtics big 3 being Walker, Brown, and Tatum, and the Raptors being Van Fleet, Lowry, and Siakam, whichever big 3 plays better will determine who wins this series.
I agree. That's been the story of a lot of these matchups. And Ben, before we end here, almost 20 minutes through, Ben's mom just called him for dinner. Yeah. Broncos fear Von Miller may be done for the year. The star pass rusher reportedly suffered he had COVID, an April or May, maybe even June, suffered a freak lower leg injury in practice on Tuesday that might cause him to miss the season. And with all this going on, I think these IR injuries are going to cause a lot of guys to miss. Eddie Pinheiro, do you see that, Ben? He's on the IR, but it's only a 3-week IR. I think with COVID,
Cairo Santos is horrible, so we need Eddie Pinheiro back.
Yeah, we do. I don't even like Eddie Pinheiro that much. But, Ben, thank you for another great episode. This was solid.
Good.
Probably have another episode here in the next few days, trying to do 3 a week. We're going to stick to that. This is our first. We did one, was it Sunday or Saturday, Ben? But that's last week. Sunday, all right. Try to do Thursday or Friday. We will see you guys in the next episode of the Chi-Town Sports Podcast.